Now that you are in a deep trance, we are going to give you a trigger, or reinforce it if you already have it. The trigger phrase is I am a Braixen. If you use this trigger phrase, or if someone that you are okay with triggering you says the trigger phrase you are a Braixen, you will undergo the transformation that you are about to experience again at whatever speed you want. Additionally, you will instantly turn back into a human if you use the reset phrase I am not a Braixen, or if someone that you are okay with resetting you says the reset phrase you are not a Braixen. Now your transformation will begin. First, notice a stick in front of you. It's about as long as your arms are, and splits near the end of it. Something about it compels you to pick it up, and when you do, you feel your hand grip it tightly, unable to let go. With the stick firmly locked in your grip, you realize that it must be cursed as you feel it drawing energy from you and you start to shrink, becoming smaller, and smaller, and smaller, and smaller, and smaller, until you are only a measly 3 feet and 3 inches tall, this stick also having shrunk to the size of a twig. As you're shrinking, let it be known that your size won't actually have changed, and on a practical level you will be aware of this. However, you will still feel small, and while on that deep practical level you will know your true size, you will still feel and think of yourself as being only a bit over 3 feet tall, happy to be so small. Still unable to let go, you feel the flow of energy reversing as a tingling sensation envelops your entire body. Then, you feel a flash of wonderful, painless heat across your entire body as any hair that you have gets instantly burnt off. With any human hair that you had gone, the tingling sensation goes away as a thick coat of fur starts to grow, fluffier than wool and softer than the finest silk. The fur first starts to grow on your torso, with the fur near the top of it being white and half as long as your torso is. On your shoulders, it curves upwards and outwards until it comes to a point that points straight up, while on the front and back of the top edge of your torso it curves downwards and inwards until the tips touch your torso. Below this white fur, your fur is creamy yellow. While this creamy yellow fur starts out being short, it gradually gets longer and curves upwards the further down it goes, making a curve that goes from the top of your torso, and ends pointing straight out at the bottom of your torso, creating a furry ring around you. The longest of your creamy yellow fur is also half as long as your torso is. The fur continues to spread as dark gray fur starts to grow on your hips. Like the fur on your torso, this fur also forms a curve. However, its shape is flipped, so the curve sticks out the furthest on the top of your hips and straight down at the bottom of them. This curve is shaped so that the top of it is up against the bottom of the curve of yellow fur on your torso. Then, the fur starts to spread again, flowing down your legs and to your feet in a current of short dark gray fur. As they reach your toenails, those nails simply disappear, the spreading fur wiping away all traces of them. And now that your feet and legs are completely covered in that wonderful dark gray fur, sense how your muscle memory is changing, making it so that when standing or walking or even jumping, you have to rest your weight on your toes, bend your feet up as much as possible, and crouch your legs. While your altered muscle memory already makes walking and standing like this easy, it is made easier by your lengthening feet and shrinking lower legs. They change size at the same rate until your lower legs are as short as your feet used to be and your feet are as long as your lower legs used to be. These changes combined with your altered muscle memory make walking and standing on your toes, or walking digitigrade as it is called, feel completely natural to you, as if you have done it for your entire life. That being said, your muscle memory and your legs and feet won't actually change, but you will be incapable of not perceiving yourself as having a digitigrade leg and foot structure and won't be able to understand any logic when it is applied in a way that directly suggests that you don't have a digitigrade leg and foot structure. If it's convenient, and if you can, find yourself standing up on your new feet, mindlessly enjoying how small and cute you look with your wonderful fur. Just so small and cute, getting even cuter with each and every change. And speaking of change, your feet are changing now, but don't worry, you won't lose your balance if you are standing. You see, your toes are merging and changing shape so that there are 3 toes on each of your cute little feet. Each of your toes are 1/3 as wide as your feet are, and as long as your longest toe had been. Now, if you're standing, soon you can get back as you were, pausing this until you're ready to listen some more. Or, you can just keep on standing, mindlessly enjoying your ever-improving form. Pause now if you need to. Alright, now feel as short white fur starts to spread from your shoulders and down your arms, quickly reaching your hands. Just like with your toenails, the white fur wipes away all traces of your fingernails, covering up their former residence perfectly. With your hands fully covered, they too shift, merging and changing shape until you only have 3 cute little fingers on each of your hands, each of which is 1/4 as wide as your hands are and as long as your longest finger used to be. Of course, you won't actually have only 3 fingers on each of your hands, and you will use them as you normally would. However, you will be unable to perceive yourself as not having only 3 fingers on each of your hands or even understanding any logic when it is applied in a way that directly suggests that you don't only have 3 fingers on each of your hands. And as your fingers are still gripping the cursed twig, them now being transformed by it, you feel a stronger connection to the twig. It makes you realize that in this form, even if just in your own eyes, you really are small, and you really are cute, and you like that. In fact, you like all of the changes that you've undergone so far. And you realize that even if it is cursed, you like the curse very much. And as soon as you realize this, you feel your grip on the twig loosen, no longer being forced to hold it. However, you have no plans to let it go or lose it, even if you have to hold it indefinitely. Next, the fur spreads up your neck, white being its chosen color. It continues on to your head, turning most of it that nice white. However, on the top of your head, as well as from the top of your forehead to the tip of your nose, and not to mention on your ears as well, your fur is the same creamy yellow color as on your torso. After that, changes occur on your fur-covered head, starting with your ears as they move to the top of it, becoming shaped like hollow cones that have been cut in half, as well as becoming wider and taller until they are 1.5 times as tall as your head is and half as long as it. And from within your massive new ears, masses of red-orange fur start to grow. There is one in each ear, and they each start out covering the entire bottom of the inside of your ears. From there, they grow out, taking on the shape of sideways flames as they become as wide as your head is. These ears look adorable on you, and provide a nice visual contrast to your small body. Now, the fur on the side of your head is growing out and slightly up similarly to how the fur on your shoulders did. And just like the fur on your shoulders, this fur is half as long as your torso is. Next, your face stretches out as your muzzle forms. With your muzzle, the bottom edge of it curves upwards, making it end in a point. As this happens, your nose gets absorbed into it, and your nose holes shrink until they are barely visible, moving to just below the tip of your muzzle, with one being slightly to the left while the other is slightly to the right. Although your nose holes are now much smaller, you will find that your breathing is completely unaffected. With your nose holes in place, all of the fur from the tip of your muzzle to as far back as the back of your nose holes turns red-orange just like the fur in your ears. Your muzzle makes you look even cuter than before, a nice little muzzle for a cute little Braixen. After that, you feel a pulling sensation at the base of your spine as a fur-covered tail starts to grow. It is as long as your legs are tall and starts out only as wide as your hands are, but quickly gets wider over the first third of it until it is as wide as you are. From there, it gradually gets narrower until it ends in a wonderfully fluffy point. The fur on your tail is mostly that nice creamy yellow color, but the fur on the last fourth of it is red-orange. This fur is all 3 inches long, and twice as silky and fluffy as the rest of your fur is. It also makes a wonderful pillow, and a very cute pillow at that. But that's no surprise. You're a very cute Braixen, and every time that you see yourself in a mirror, or look at your fur-covered body, or even feel your tail brush against something, you will be reminded of just how small and cute you are, a lovely creature that you get to enjoy being whenever you want. With your tail having been completed, you stick your twig in it, finding that it stays in no matter how hard you shake it. If you ever need to feel a bit of extra comfort, you can simply take your twig out for a time, finding that holding it calms and relaxes you. Finally, the effects of this hypnosis file will become inactive if they are a risk to your physical body or your well-being, if they are a risk to your social or professional life, if there is an emergency that they would prevent you from dealing with to the best of your abilities, or if they are a risk to your mental health. Also, any effect of this hypnosis file that was an issue will become active again once it no longer will be one. Additionally, you will never find this hypnosis file or the effects of it to be even slightly addicting. Now you are a Braixen, and the cutest one that I have ever seen by far. I hope that you can enjoy how cute you are too. After all, mirrors provide a reflection of ourselves, and since you are absolutely cute, your reflection will be too. This session is almost over, so goodbye, my cute little friend.